Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea preview. I got some bad news, but I'll talk to you about that in just a momento. But before we get into that, let me make things Crystal Palace clear. There can be no other outcome but a win in this football match. We need top four. I don't know what deal Maresca has done with the devil. And he's maybe said, oh, I don't know, the ownership didn't tell me we had to make Champions League. I've heard that before, by the way. No. The expectation, people didn't expect us to be here. No. Pause, stop the train, get off. This is not true. We're now fourth. We can't keep dropping down the table and keep saying, well, no one expected us to be here. No, I predicted us fourth. I expect us to be fourth. I'm pretty sure most people expect us to finish fourth. With the quality, with what we've put together, we must. So please, this is now bang on expectation. Any further down the league and it's a problem. We cannot even really be looking at coefficient. We may get it, we probably will, but I'm not trying to ask for favors from friends and help along the way this season. I want it under our control. I want destiny to be decided by us. We need Champions League football. We must bounce back. Enough gift giving at Christmas. Stop all that. Put points on the board. We have to. So that's the first thing. I don't want any confusion about overachieving. We're now fourth. Now, there's injury news. As you can see in the thumb, what happened last game when we played Palace? We drew 1-1. EZE with a moment of magic, far curler into the corner. And right side centre-back is where we need to be picking him up. Unfortunately, Wesley Fofana, who was never available, but he really isn't now. He's finished. He's done. He's injured, potentially until the end of the season. This is a catastrophe. This is horrendous. This is an abomination. I was so looking forward to showcasing, hopefully, what this guy could be potentially. One of France's most upcoming, exciting centre-backs with the Salibas and the others. But that debut season from St Etienne to Leicester, that cup final against us at Wembley for Leicester, he was one of the best centre-backs in the league that season. He was brilliant. He was unbelievable under Brendan Rodgers. But another long-term injury, another issue. I don't know when he'll be back because there is no date. It's just, we'll see, but it's looking long. It's worse than originally feared. The conclusion I've come to is we already made precaution for Reece James. We had Gusto now. We have Josh Ashampong, new deal. We've made our movements to cover off Reece James. We now have to do with Wesley Fofana. We have to do the same thing. Next season, if we're going on a title charge, which we need to be, we need a new starting level quality right side centre back. I've spoken about giving time to those young players that we have, the young ones that are coming in, new contracts, coming back from Boca Juniors. But they're going to need time. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to have weaknesses. Very rarely do you get a defender in their prime, in their teenage years. Very rarely. Early 20s, look at Christensen. So we're going to need to rotate, look after them, develop them. But whilst we're doing that, next season we're going to need a new leader. I'm looking for a leader. I've got a lot of secondary centre-backs. I've got Tosin, who at best could have been Gary Cahill from Bolton. A secondary centre-back to Terry, at best. Not looking near it. Colwell, secondary. Still needs an arm around the shoulder, still needs leadership, guidance before he hopefully becomes a leader himself. Fofana the same, Disasi, Badia Shaw, don't even get me started. We need a new leader. We need a new Van Dijk. We need even a Konate. We need someone that covers all bases. We need someone that's quick, someone that's strong, someone that's good in the air, both boxes, defending and attacking. We need leadership. We need everything. The full package. We need Thiago Silva with pace. We need it all. So that's got to be now one of the top priorities in the summer. There's no way we're going into next season with a fragile backline. It needs to be fixed and prioritized. So that's the first thing. Bad news on Fofana. The next thing is not looking good on the fact that Lavia is still not ready. So that's another issue. Midfield, we're still thinking about what we do with those young players out on loan, but leave that for now. Reece James is going to play a part. He's going to have some minutes, Maresca says, probably off the bench. He's not going to start this game. So expect a maybe 7-8 minute cameo from Reece James against Palace in the back end of the game. And yeah, and we're still waiting for Mudryk Sample B results. And that's that. So that's the situation. At the end of the day, it's not an excuse. We still have enough players, enough quality, enough options to win this match. As long as we use our bench properly, we're active, we're proactive. Maresca, please make those subs early if need be. And people need to return to form. We need our best players playing well again. Now, I'm going to be getting into what I believe should be the team. I'm going to be getting into what I believe should be the lineup, what I would select, and also what Palace are probably going to put out there as well. But let's get into the tactical pad. Okay, so this is the two teams on screen, as you can see. Not only is there no Lavia, but there's also still no Drewsbury Hall. Maresca, very politically correct, said, anybody that's here, we want to be here, give it a rest, brother. You're not going to be using him much. You haven't, or as it is, he needs to find a new home. But anyway, we did that in our previous videos. Check out January transfer windows and start sub sales or whatever, previous uploads and all you can eat Chelsea. Let's get into the team. So we have Cole Palmer in the 10. We have Jackson on 9 goals, I believe. If he doubles it, he'll finish on 18. We are exactly halfway through the season. That would be a great tally, but he does need to now get a move on. None of the wingers are providing the output that I would have asked for at the start of the season. 10 goals and assists, so they need to step it up. I would go with Felix again, purely because he was one of our most dangerous players in the first half against Ipswich. I think he deserves at least to try and get back-to-back Premier League games. And Sancho, I've actually moved to the right just to offer something different out here, because Madueke was not good in the last game, especially defensively, tracking back. We saw for the first goal and even the second, well, mainly the first goal. So I've got Sancho on right wing, which is a position he can play. He can offer that, and against probably potentially what might be a low block from Palace to begin with, try and slice and dice his way through there. More importantly, because I think the attack right now, we're all a little bit frustrated. We don't have Neto or Madueke in great form. Neto hasn't really got anyone to cross to, so there's not really any need right now for him. And I don't think there's gonna be loads of spacing behind. I might be incorrect, but I can easily see Crystal Palace going into a back 5 off the ball, being quite defensive and going back into this type of shape where you have a 4-5-1. And to break down that 4-5-1, I would rather have Sancho, who's able to come in and combine, Felix, who's ready to come in and combine, because we can't go direct, because we can't go long, because we can't cross aerially. So we need the best low block ball carriers and passers and everything. And, you know, we need that. So that's what I'm putting up. Now, the other way to go past the low block, which we haven't really been doing, and I'm going to get into why, but it still needs to be looked at, is Cucurella given a bit of an overlap and Acheampong given a bit of an overlap. Not both at the same time, but we don't give enough support to our wingers. We do force them into 1v2, 1v3 situations very often. They don't really have any support outside them, and that is a weakness of the system, because usually what we do, and I expect us to do it again, is we push Enzo potentially further forward, we invert Cucurella, and we go to this 3-2 build up. I expect us to start the game this way. I've got Acheampong started. I'm well aware that Gusto is probably going to start, but I want Acheampong starting. I'm going to explain again in a moment why. But this is what it's going to be, probably defensively, right? But, can we please have versatility, flexibility, Maresca, if things are not working? If it's not working, there's no reason as to why we can't just change things a little bit. Acheampong can overlap, and we can go to a 3-2 build up in this way. If there's not a lot of pressure and there's not a great press from Palace, we'll see what they decide to do. Enzo drops back into the midfield, and now you've got Acheampong as a free man, not inverting, but overlapping, something he's done in the academy a lot. And it just allows Sancho to have someone on the outside, someone to look to for help, and then you attack with the 5 that way. That's something that we've not really done. We've inverted Gusto into attacking midfield roles. We've not let a fullback overlap on that flank this season. We've always sometimes given Cucurella the opportunity to do it, but the big bonus of having someone like Acheampong out here instead of the Sassy is that Acheampong can go into the 3 comfortably, and Cucurella can find himself further forward. He can go into midfield, or he may even go on the overlap for Felix, or he may even crash the box. But at least you can change it, and you can go to a 3. Now, the only issue here is, of course, you've got the fact that tossing out wide is an issue. But this is what happens when you don't have positional, versatile centre-backs, which we really overrated and overestimated that we have. A lot of our centre-backs really would prefer, just quickly, A lot of our centre-backs would prefer to be in the middle. Tosin wants to be in the middle. Disasi has to be in the middle. Colwell wants to be in the middle. We actually don't have many wide defenders, wide players that defend the channels really well. Defenders with pace, defenders with positional awareness to recover and get round. Badiashile was meant to be that guy. Really in this left channel, he's not really fit again, so that is an issue. So that's something I just want to point out and look at, you know, just to bring it up. If we need substitutions, I must say it again, because it never seems to be a situation that we can actually get it done. Maybe we'll get it done this time, but it would be my first sub. I'd be looking at Gu to come on for Jackson, because of course I want to keep the press. Some of our best performances this season against Aston Villa at home in particular have been with a great press, with a really good counter press, win the ball high up the pitch, keep the intensity. And considering we can't defend, and we haven't been able to defend pretty much all campaign consistently, apart from a couple of games here and there, it would be nice to defend from the front. It would be nice to not get easily bypassed in the attack and win the ball high up the pitch. That's at least something that can help us, rather than Nkunku coming on and basically destroying the press, making us easier to play through, and then we still can't defend. So at least do that. But again, I'm kind of wishing at this point. I'm not expecting. Reece James, like I said, will come on for his cameo minutes. We'll see how that goes. Let me just get Jackson back in. Jackson, like I said, on the 9 goals, looking for hopefully to double that with the 18. All of the wingers are underperforming on the metrics in terms of the statistics. So I'm not, well, Sancho, based upon minutes played, is okay. The rest of them underperforming, in my opinion, in terms of minutes played to ratios. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Like I said, there's no Dewsbury Hall. There's no Mudryk. There's Neto and Madueke to come on for pace out wide if we need to. Have them maybe exchanging on the flanks. In terms of Palace, very important to note that Sarr, Mateta are the players getting them goals at the moment. Most of their chance creation, you could maybe say, if you were to swap Hughes, who's the better passer, potentially, and put Mitchell further forward, a lot of the chance creation tends to come from, at times, this left part of the pitch. If I can quickly so really this left part of the pitch is where most of their chance creators are. Whether it's the cross from Mitchell for Mateta, of course, he'll be in the box, powerhouse, he needs to be dealt with physically. Eze goes without saying on chance creation, and Hughes has created more than Lerma. Sarr is obviously there to get the goals. He's quite a dynamic, quick winger. We need to be careful of him in the transition. And the right back is probably one of the best right backs in the Premier League at the moment. Keep an eye on him on the back post. He'll always be lurking and looking to make those late runs to confuse us and to put us in problems. Back three, Gurhi, obviously no Trevor Chalobah. He's unavailable because he's tied up, because obviously we have him on loan to Palace. And apart from that, that is their system, that is their team. They could low block it. They could outnumber us in midfield if we're not careful in terms of the 4. Let me just rub that back out. If you look at the 4 here, Eze, Sarr, if they tuck in. But Sarr does like to drift out wide, so I wouldn't expect him to always be inside. But yeah, you could get outnumbered in theory with the 4 there, which is why it will most likely look like this. And it will go to a 4v4, and we'll go to the 3. Tosin will probably have to start, even though he was really poor against Liam Delap and he was getting out-jumped at times and out-muscled. Tosin versus Mateta, I'm very worried about based upon what Liam Delap did to him, but unfortunately we have no other option. Unless you're suggesting after that horror show from Disasi that you put Disasi in the middle of the back 3 for Tosin to man mark Mateta, aerially dominate him, physically dominate him. You could do that. But I'm also scared of what Disasi could do on the ball if he gives the ball away in the middle of the back 3. You haven't seen Maresca do this often. But this is the only position Disasi can play. If you're going to play him, this is the only position he can play. Because we're going to be very ball dominant, I would prefer Tosin to be breaking lines with the ball, playing the passes in between the lines, trying to find players consistently in these areas to help us in the build-up, because I think we're going to have a lot of possession. Disasi did play that role away at Man City at the Etihad. Obviously, he was brilliant because we didn't have a lot of the ball. But yeah, you pick and choose in the comments. Disasi or Tosin in the middle of the back 3. Those 2 liabilities right now. The rest of it picks itself. And that's what it is. So yeah, pray. So that was the tactical pad. yeah, let's see what happens. We got quite a few players out. We got quite a few players missing, but as you can see, the team is still strong enough. It still needs to be able to handle its business and get the job done. And yeah, Jorgensen for Sanchez in goal. I forgot to put Sanchez back in. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Jorgensen, in my opinion, it wasn't a penalty. There's nothing he really could have done for either goal. The penalty he can't save, and the second goal is an absolute travesty of defending from Tosin, Disasi, etc. Not closing down Omari Hutchinson and giving the ball away. So I wouldn't mind seeing Jorgensen start back-to-back games, because you know me on Sanchez. But if Sanchez comes back in, which he will, I'm not really going to be surprised. So I don't really care about that position at this point. But yeah, guys, smash up that likes. My score prediction, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Chelsea win. Make sure you subscribe. I will be there for the watch along, 1:30 Saturday UK time. Check out All You Can Eat Chelsea if you haven't already. We had a big discussion on what this season is looking like so far with Maresca in terms of trust in the squad, what profiles we think he maybe wants, but he hasn't articulated. He's basically lying and saying that Shrewsbury Hall is wanted and needed at the club. He's not. So yeah, he's playing a bit of politics, and we're trying to basically dissect and carve through that and get to the truth. So watch that, check that out. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.